So they said when they were young, and maybe 6 to 10 years old, they had friends that they would meet out in the fields because it's pretty remote in that area. I can't think of the name of that highway, but it's the one that goes west and up over the top. There's a lake. You come down to the Saratoga. And they talked about the playmate they had. It was very strange looking. And then one day, the youngest one disappeared. She was gone for a week. There was panic. They couldn't figure out what happened. They thought she was kidnapped. Then she shows up again. And she's perfectly healthy. Well, she's perfectly healthy until now. She's aged, like I say, 25 or 26, somewhere like that. And the reason they wanted to talk to me is she's married, tried to have a baby, and couldn't get pregnant. So she had an exam and found that her uterus had been removed surgically when she was a child. And at that point I said, oh, you must be talking about aliens, things of that nature. They said, yes, we want to talk to you. You're a psychologist. You're here, so we wanted to share with you. At this point, we're at the ranch. So we drove around, looked at the ranch. There's a dirt road off at, I think it's 340, going north. And we found the McGuire's house. It's actually, what do you call it, factory homes. And had a large light up there. So we looked around and drove back. So we got back, I went to my session, and I never saw them again. I wondered whatever happened to them. So I planned to go that night, so I'm going down to that ranch because McGuire doesn't own it tomorrow. So about I'd say near 8 o'clock, I was going to take off and go to the ranch. Again, I'm driving my Subaru. And a fellow who was a chiropractor I hadn't seen for years shows up. He has no interest. I didn't know he had interest in UFOs in the first place. But he somehow he heard I was there. So he asked if he could spend some time with me. I said, well, not really. I said, I have something I have to do. He said, what? I figured, well, since he's here at the UFO conference, I can mention it. I said, I'm going out to the McGuire Ranch. I want to see what happens. I hear that UFOs show up there, and also aliens. He said, can I go with you? I said, oh, okay. So we jumped my car, so we had to ignore it. He said, can you stop for a minute at the motel? My wife and 12-year-old son there, I want to tell them I'm going with you. I said, sure. So we stopped at the motel. Yeah. It wasn't there too long, so I started to get a little concerned why. They all came out. And he said, they want to come too. And at that point I realized I lost control because no way you could get 4 people in my Subaru, Brad. So we took their 4-wheel drive vehicle. As I recall, I think it was a Jeep or something of that nature. And I had my cameras with me. I carried 2 cameras, one with infrared and one with 100 ASA color film. So I thought, I'm not sure I like this, but I need to be courteous. So we went out to the ranch. By this time it's 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I knew how to get there because I've gone out during the day purposely. I wanted to see landmarks. I wanted to see where there are buildings, so I don't mistake something because it may look like a presence of some UFO, and actually it's a farmhouse or something like that nature. So we get out to the ranch, and off for the 340 to that McGuire's home, it's quite a distance, I'll say half mile. So we got out there, and he has a security light, like a street light by his house. And there's a small knoll to the east. So they're walking around. I thought, I'll climb up to that knoll. So I walked on top of the knoll. And during the time I was doing my research, which still at shortly after I completed my PhD, I would become friends with a fellow in around Tehachapi, California. His name was Trevor Constable. And Trevor Constable he told me he used to see all kind of UFOs where he was, because there's an air base around there. And he said, if you ever want to see a UFO, do the star exercise, the yoga star exercise. Well, I'd been studying yoga since I was 12. So I'm on top of the small, and I started doing a star exercise, where you extend your arms out to right like this, and you rotate 90 degrees. And I don't know, it sounds very superstitious. What the heck? I'm willing to try anything if it's not dangerous. So I did the star exercise. All of a sudden, I look up, there are 3 UFOs. They were in higher, more than 1,000 feet up. I thought, wow, that's fantastic. Then I became aware of the fact there was screaming going on. And I looked down, and this man, I can't use his name, and his wife are panicking. I mean, they are screaming. So I thought, well, I better go take her to the mental health because I went down there. And I was trying to calm him down, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to do it. So I said, well, let's get in the car and go back to Laramie. Well, we got in the car, all the time the wife was screaming and crying, the son was panicking, I mean, both were panicking. The husband wasn't that much out of control, but he was really nervous. I felt like I could just slap him in the face a few times to straighten him out. So I got in the back of this Jeep, and the 3 of them were in front. Now this kid is 12 years old. He's sitting on his mother's lap, and she's in here screaming and crying. That's why you say they were hysterical. So I was driving back to the Churchill Highway, and I'm saying to myself, boy, I really screwed this one up. I didn't take any pictures. I came for that purpose. So we got to the Blacktop Road. I hang a right to go west to intersect Highway 30, because this highway ends at Highway 30. As we were driving along, I felt something funny. So I turned around, looked out the back window. It's 3 UFOs. They're following us. I said they're up about, at this point, let's say, I can still see it. I see 1,000 feet up. I thought, fantastic. So I took out my cameras and I figured that's pretty far away. What the heck? I'll try anyways. So I started clicking off some frames. They had just stopped being hysterical, still crying and sobbing. And when they heard the click of the camera turn around, they saw the UFOs, they panicked all over again. So we got to Highway 30, I said, stop. At this point, there's a thunderstorm. There was some rain, but not much. But there was lightning things. And a lot of thunder. So we stopped on the highway. And I said, stop here. So we got out. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm walking back to the ranch. They said, that's about 12 miles away. I said, I don't care. I want to go back. Because this time I couldn't see the UFOs up above anymore. So I'm facing east. They're facing west. And then an intersection of, I'll call it 340, I think that's right. Whatever, it's a Churchill Highway, a junction with Highway 30, and Laramie's to my right, which would be south. I'm looking at him, talking to him, trying to explain, go ahead, leave me alone. When I see something about maybe 150 feet away from me, and it's strange, it looked like the windows of a Pullman boxcar. And they were off-white, bluish-white color. And then it kept getting more and more intense, blue-white, then into a real bright blue, and then off. I thought, what the heck is that? I said, I know there's no building there, because that's why I went out during the day. There's no farm, no nothing. And then it started all over again. It went on several times. At this point, I take out my cameras, I had them strapped on. I started walking across the street. They didn't see these. They turned and they saw them. They panicked again. And there was a barbed wire fence. It was more than 4 feet high, because we pretty much scaled 4 feet. It must have been about 5 feet high. And I thought, can I scale this thing? So I found a post to try to climb. I couldn't do it. In fact, I was worried about ripping my hands and my clothing. So what was interesting was, if I looked straight at this object, like a Pullman car, the windows straight ahead were rectangular, but they kept getting shorter and shorter as they went left and right. I thought, that's interesting. So then I went around onto Highway 340 to see if I could find some entrance there, but it was barbed wire, it was all farmland. And as I did, the same configuration remained. It was always the same, square in front of me and small left to right. Finally realized, whatever that thing is about, could be 30 feet in diameter. It's a UFO. I'm sure it is, because the way the size of the windows change in the configuration. Then I realized that you're screaming. I had pretty much shut them out. So I think I have 2 cameras. So I rolled off 72 frames. Infrared and 100 ASA. Now I knew that flash only carries 25 feet.